Welcome to Holme Horror. I've been waiting for you. The Forgotten Cabin. It was a brisk autumn afternoon when four friends, Sarah, Jake, Mia, and Tom, set out on a much-anticipated hiking trip. They'd been planning the adventure for weeks, eager to escape their busy routines and lose themselves in the beauty of the forest. The drive had been filled with laughter and teasing as they left the city behind, the vibrant reds and golds of fall welcoming them into the wilderness. "Ready to get spooked, city slickers?" Sarah quipped, adjusting her backpack. Her love of thrill-seeking often dragged the others into situations they'd never have chosen themselves. "Spooked?" Jake scoffed, smirking. "If anyone should be scared, it's the bears. I brought snacks." Tom rolled his eyes. "Let's hope your snacks don't make us the snacks." The trail wound deeper into the woods, the towering trees closing in around them. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, they stumbled upon a clearing. Half hidden by creeping vines and moss was an old cabin. Its roof sagged under decades of decay, and its broken windows gaped like empty eye sockets. "Whoa," Mia breathed, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "That is creepy. How is this not in some horror movie?" "We should check it out," Sarah said, her eyes gleaming. "It's probably abandoned." Jake hesitated. This feels like the part where everyone yells, "Don't go in!" But curiosity won. The four cautiously approached the cabin, the crunch of leaves beneath their boots the only sound in the stillness. As they stepped onto the warped porch, the air grew noticeably colder. Sarah pushed open the door, the rusted hinges shrieking in protest. Inside, the stench of rot and mildew hit them like a wall. The cabin's interior was a time capsule of abandonment. Dust-coated furniture sat askew, a shattered mirror hung crookedly on one wall, and a crumbling fireplace yawned ominously. On a rickety table lay an old leather-bound journal, its edges curled with age. Tom picked it up and flipped through the yellowed pages. "This belonged to the family who lived here," he murmured. "Listen to this. The woods watch us. The cabin keeps us. There is no escape." A chill settled over the group. "What does that mean?" Mia whispered. Tom continued reading. The entries were disjointed, written in frantic scrawls. They spoke of eerie figures seen among the trees, whispers that came from nowhere, and a growing sense of dread that consumed the family. The last entry was brief. "They've taken Anna. We can't leave. If you find this, run." "Anna?" Sarah asked, her voice wavering. "Maybe their daughter," Tom guessed, closing the journal. Before anyone could respond, a sharp bang echoed from the back of the cabin. They froze. "Probably just an animal," Jake said, though his voice betrayed him. Gripping a flashlight, he crept toward the noise. The others stayed rooted in place, their breaths shallow. Minutes ticked by in silence. Then a blood-curdling scream erupted from the darkness, followed by the sound of shattering glass. "Jake!" Sarah shouted, rushing toward the sound. The others followed, their panic mounting. But Jake was gone. The back door hung open, swinging gently in the breeze. Beyond it, the forest loomed, silent and impenetrable. "Where did he go?" Mia cried. "We have to find him!" As they stepped outside, an oppressive fog rolled in, swallowing the world around them. The trees seemed to twist and warp, their gnarled branches reaching like skeletal hands. Whispers drifted through the air, low and mournful. "Jake!" Tom called, but his voice was swallowed by the fog. A faint laugh echoed, Jake's laugh. It was distant and distorted, coming from everywhere at once. "Something's wrong," Sarah said, her voice shaking. "We need to go back inside." Reluctantly, they returned to the cabin. But it wasn't the same. The furniture had moved. The dust disturbed as though invisible hands had dragged clawed fingers through it. The fireplace roared to life with unnatural intensity, casting flickering shadows on the walls. And in the center of the room stood a child, a little girl in a white dress, her face pale and her eyes black voids. "You shouldn't be here," she said, her voice flat and devoid of emotion. "They don't like intruders." "Who's they?" Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The girl tilted her head, a small, sad smile playing on her lips. "The ones who took me. They're part of the woods now, and soon, you will be too." Before they could react, the cabin shifted violently, the walls seeming to breathe, the floorboards twisting beneath their feet. The child vanished, leaving behind only the journal, which now lay open to a new page. Scrawled in fresh ink were the words, "To break the spell, offer what is most precious, but beware, the woods demand balance." "What does that mean?" Mia asked, panic creeping into her voice. "Offer what?" Tom picked up the journal, his hands trembling. "It's a ritual. They tried it to save Anna, but they failed." "We have to try," Sarah said, her face pale but resolute. "We can't leave Jake out there." The journal described a ritual requiring them to gather 3 items from the woods: a branch from a tree struck by lightning, a stone from the riverbed under a full moon, and a single drop of blood willingly given. But the final step was vague, cryptic. "Sacrifice that which binds you to the world." "What binds us to the world?" Tom asked, dread pooling in his stomach. They split up to gather the items, each one fraught with danger. The forest seemed alive, twisting paths, conjuring shadows, and whispering taunts in voices they recognized. Jake's voice, their own voices. When they returned to the cabin hours later, exhausted and shaken, the final step awaited. "What do we sacrifice?" Mia asked, tears streaming down her face. Sarah's eyes widened in realization. "It's us. We have to sacrifice ourselves." "No way," Tom said, shaking his head. "There has to be another way." The cabin groaned, its walls closing in. The child reappeared, her face now twisted and grotesque. "Decide," she hissed, "or the woods will decide for you." As the friends argued, the fog outside pressed against the windows, faces forming within it, faces of those who had come before, mouths open in silent screams. The walls trembled, the air vibrating with unseen rage. In the end, Sarah stepped forward, a knife in her hand. "If it's the only way," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "No!" Mia cried, grabbing her arm. But Sarah shook her off. Before she could make the ultimate sacrifice, the cabin exploded in chaos. The walls tore apart, revealing not the forest, but a void of writhing shadows. From within it, Jake emerged, his eyes black, his face twisted into a grotesque grin. "They don't want you to leave," he said, his voice guttural and inhuman. "They want all of you." The friends screamed as the shadows engulfed them, dragging them into the void. The last thing Sarah saw was the little girl, her black eyes glinting with cruel satisfaction. Weeks later, hikers found the cabin untouched and silent. On the table lay the journal, open to a single page. "The woods always take what they are owed." Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more chilling stories. And remember, be careful. I'll be watching you.